So we're here with a little bit of bonus footage. It's not what you think, though, unfortunately, with Scott Marshall and Adam Lawrence.
What can people find out about what's going to go on in 26 in the episode? What are your top 3 things that you think people need to pay attention to? They'll get more information in the episode itself, Adam.
Brilliant question, Luke. So I have absolutely focused on the operational side of things. So risk is higher for landlords, for asset owners. Effort is higher. We'd like returns to be higher, but Scott was saying earlier on, quite correctly, that's probably not 2026 when that's happening. So there's a little bit of sort of suck it up and all the rest of it. But on the flip side, number 2, then look at the opportunities that is creating, especially on things like tenanted stock. And then the third one, what's the big one that people don't talk about too often, or probably I think is misspoken about in the broader property space outside of rooms like this, is working with housing providers. And what I don't like the term social housing for what it describes. I think social housing is something completely different, to be honest with you. But that's me on my academic soapbox slightly there. But what should you be looking into if you're an asset owner? What sort of solution is there? How can you do something with a bit of purpose and a bit of social impact? So that's what you see in my episode.
Perfect. And Scott, what about you? What are the top 3 things as a lender that you're going to see in 2026 that we talk about on the podcast?
Yeah, I think that we're seeing at the moment a professionalisation of the sector. And what I don't mean by that is the smaller landlord is unprofessional, because there are so many smaller landlords that are incredibly professional and
phenomenal level of service,
and really care about their tenants. Okay, so I'm not trying to say that and I hope that doesn't offend any, because it's not the intention. But what we are seeing is that at times like this, where legislation and regulation is doing everything it can to drive the small person out of the market, the professionalisation of the market is coming from the people that actually do the professionally for a living.
Yeah.
And I can see more and more of that. Ironically, whilst they're trying to do this to protect a tenant, it may end up being a worse product for a tenant at the end of the day, because if you've got a larger landlord that's got 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 units, they're never going to give the tenant that level of service.
Look at the ones who've got 200,000 units and look at their satisfaction survey.
It takes you back to operation, doesn't it?
So you actually end up with a less fragmented market, but at the expense of the person that's occupying the properties. Hence probably why there's also this legislation coming in place around actually how you've got to look after your tenants. But I'd also say that the owning and renting property has and never will go out of fashion. I think there are lots of landlords that are saying to themselves, that, you know what, buy-to-let is dead. Okay, the smaller ones in particular.
First time that was said in the Times, 2003.
Okay,
I googled that once and did that bit of research on that. I've written some stuff about this.
I'm not sure I was born then, to be fair.
I'm pretty sure you were.
But I think what we're also seeing is landlords dipping their toe in the water on commercial and semi-commercial. And I think one of the other interesting things is that you can own a commercial property in your personal name and still get tax relief, not like you can with residential. So actually you can get better returns. That's far more hands-off commercial.
Haven't got the double tax of the company, for example.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's far more hands-off of commercial. You've got a tenant in there on full repairing and insuring leases. You are able to take action more quickly if the tenant doesn't pay. But the likelihood is that the tenant of a commercial property, because that property is, in so many cases, if they're owner-occupiers, is actually putting food on their family's table, they're more likely to pay that mortgage ahead of other debts and other liabilities that they might have. So,
and they leave rather quickly if it's a slightly different eviction process.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually think that there's going to be a huge amount more investment in commercial. We are seeing already that there is almost a slight shift in the type of lending that we're doing, and we are gearing ourselves up to support that market in the same way that we've done on the residential side over the past 15 years.
Great stuff. Well, thanks for your input, chaps. We hope you've enjoyed this bonus footage. Make sure you check out the individual episodes as well, where Scott and Adam really go deep dive into those subject topics and their top 3 points.